Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video, another one in real time. I'm going to film another journal spread using Marlene's new release. So I'm working in the brand new journal and I'm going to use this page from the cut and paste block that has come out in this new release. So I was thinking I could make like a little field of flowers. And I could kind of make this into a double page spread. Maybe, I don't know whether I might use some of the little birds. Might put the sun in the sky. I don't know, we'll see. We'll kind of see how this comes together. So I'm thinking I want to start off with some green collage paper. This won't help you lot, I'm not a great deal, I know, but I have a huge amount of Marlene's collage paper, so I decided I would take it out of the books and put it in my box, so it might just be a little bit easier for me to work with, because I can just kind of leaf through and see which is easier that way. I just thought it's easier. So unfortunately don't know which book it's come from, but I've got a few bits of green there. It gives me a good starting point for my grass. So I'm thinking I'm going to pop grass along the bottom with some flowers, something in the sky. So let's get some sky going first. Smurf, sky. They're very similar, aren't they? Let's go with some Smurf and sky. There's no gesso on my pages. They are naked. I've just wet my brush a little bit, just so I can go in and pull the paint around a bit. It'll be interesting to see how it moves. I can do some reductive stenciling once this bit's dry, but this gives me a bit of colour to play with. Now I know that hasn't blended brilliantly. I'm not really bothered about that because I know I can kind of make it. I can make it work. I'm just going to mostly sort of go through here and pull that as close as I can to the centre without getting too stressed about it. I think it's gone on the page underneath. I'm also not worried about that either. That's all right. So I'm just letting this paint down quite a lot with some water just so I can move it around. Now if I'd added gesso that would have moved about a lot easier, but I'm really not bothered because the sky isn't neat and smooth, is it? It's all different tones and shades of colours, so that's perfectly fine. So that was Smurf. I'm going with a bit of sky. Let's see what this looks like. And then I might bring some lighter colours in a bit as well. Okay, then let's go with some heaven. This is one of Marlene's brushes as well. This is a size 20. It's a lovely kind of a flat brush, but with a rounded tip on it. So what might be quite nice to do is to maybe, if I give this a good dry, then I could go in with a bit of reductive stenciling with some white. So all that means is I'm just going to pop some paint down, pop a stencil on while it's wet, and then lift some paint through the stencil using a baby white. So I am going to use white for this. So little tip with your baby white, make sure it isn't absolutely sopping wet. So what I tend to do is I just wring it out over my bin so that I can get rid of some of the excess moisture because if it's too wet, it means when you rub through to lift your paint off, that you're going to end up with just kind of wet seeping underneath. And one way that's a nice way to get your paint on when you're doing this technique is to actually use your finger to kind of smudge it on like this, and you'll find that you can get a sort of softer blend. So I'm going to pull that right down there. I'm going to grab, I don't really know which stencil, this one maybe. I don't want that to dry too much, so I'm going to go in and just lift it off like that. And this way I can build up lots of different marks on my page, in the sky. I can even go in and do this with darker colours, different stencils, all sorts of things. I'm not going for a realistic sky here, I'm just going for an idea of a sky. So I'm not too worried about making it perfect. It's not my jam. And if some of those edges are like, you think, oh, I don't like that, smudge it out, wipe it away with your baby wipe. Just don't get too caught up on making it perfect. It will look better if it looks less deliberate. So not perfect is perfect for what you want. That makes sense? So now I'm just looking at my page and thinking, okay, so that's all right there, but I just need a little bit up here. And then what I might do now is give that a dry and find a smaller stencil, maybe one of the new ones. Is there one? Maybe not. Don't really want stars in my daylight, do I? So these are stencils that I collected from previous Art by Marlene advent calendars. And I just put them on a ring so that I can keep them out, because if I have them tucked away in a little drawer or a tin, I will just forget about them. As I did in one of the previous challenges, I got, you know, pretty much all the way through and I was like, oh gosh, I haven't really used those little stencils, and they're my favourites. This is one of my favourites as well. I love anything circly. So what I might do now is just go in and just lightly smoosh that a bit, so it's a bit less, those lines aren't as harsh. So I'm actually just getting all my fingers in there and giving it a really good smoosh around. And then I'm just lightly pulling it either right or left to give the clouds a feeling of movement. I'm just going to pull a little bit down here and over there. I'll come back in and do that in a minute. That isn't thunder, it's someone putting their bin away. I think maybe just do a little bit here. That's disappeared. That's all right. Maybe a touch there. Lovely. Okay. Oh, a little bit up here. So I think some splatters are going to work nicely up in the sky up there in a bit. Maybe some slightly darker colours. It's time to let that dry. Okay, so let's get some of these greens on the bottom of the page and then I can think about my flowers. So doing a page like this, I mean, quite literally a lot of the work, if you use collage papers, a lot of the thinking is kind of done for you. So let me grab some of the gel, Marlene's gel medium. a bit of a wrinkle there, but I'm not bothered. Haven't we all? Little wrinkles. See, that's already stuck down. That's incredible. That shows how warm it is in here. It's never normally that warm. Okay, I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm just going to tear it down and stick it in. And I'm going to do a little bit of layering of colours here. So we can make this work. That right at the edge. Okay, that's a nice dark green, and we'll go in with another one. And I might just I'm just going to stick these on, and then I can always come in with paints and things in a bit and just get some of these joins a bit more. I should really have done this the other way around, like put these layers on first, but you know, my brain isn't thinking fast enough. So this is a bit of the collage paper. It's a little bit thicker than the first one. It's got a heavier weight to it. So it's just going to take a little bit more sticking down, but it'll work, it'll be fine. And then here, can I make that work? No. Can I make a piece of this? Yes. I'll do that like that, and then you can tear that up there a little bit, like that. And then I'm going to stick that down again using the gel medium. So we need to be using quite a bit because again this is quite thick, and I want to kind of try my best to make that make sense with what's on the other side so that my pages will flow all right. Okay, I mean it's not perfect, but does it matter? No, it really doesn't. I've got some bits left over, so I might just pop these down here. Come on, stick, you know you want to. Okay, and then I've got this lovely bright green. What can I do with this? Let's just put some little bits along here. Yeah, just going to bring some of these, just making sure that is actually on. Yes, it is on screen. Making sure I've not been working off camera because that would be very silly and of absolutely no use. Okay. So I'm literally just getting some bits of colour down on my page. So this is actually quite a big area that I'm going to be covering here, but I get lots of flowers on here, and then we can add some extra elements in as well. Okay, so let me give that a dry, and then we can do some fussy cutting, my favourite. Bit of fussy cutting and maybe some stenciling as well would be quite nice. Okay. Feels quite sticky. That's all right. Right, so safe. Let's use the new hexagon stencil, and I'm going to use a bit of green and go in and do a bit of stenciling on here. Let's use some forest or not. Well, that's going to go a long way, isn't it? And some envy. Oh my days. So what I'm trying to do now is just add a bit more interest to this grassy area. I'll go in with a bit of forest first. Bring a bit of stenciling over the top of here. Yeah, I kind of like that. If I put my stenciling over where the joins are, that will just blend things through a little bit, I think. Yeah, that's quite nice. I like that. I sound like I'm congratulating myself there. I'm actually not. I am just like, yeah, that works. Okay. Then I'm going to need a different stencil, so let's grab one of these. What about this one, because it's here? This is one of the advent calendar stencils. So this is Envy, this green, slightly more, I don't know, more yellowy green than the forest. I'm kind of just getting lots of marks on my grass here. Not worrying too much about, is it perfect? No. Is it perfect? No, it's certainly not perfect. Does that matter? No. Right, let's put that back on there. Okay. Give that a bit of a dry. Put those greens away for now. Okay, I'm going to cut some of these pretty flowers out now. So let's start with this one here. And I'm going to just cut out some flowers and have like a little bed of roses. It would be great if there was a saying in that collection about roses. These are like roses, aren't they? Now, me being me, I think I'm going to have an odd number, or I might even have one or two going off the edge of the page. I might also have a go at painting one or two of my own, copying this style here. Maybe a couple of bigger ones. Let's get those stuck in. It's gone really windy. Okay. I'm just using some gel medium to stick these down. And I know that's kind of upside down, but I want them all pointing different ways because then that helps the flow of the page. And what I might do is actually maybe cut another one out just to make it go off the edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to cut this one out and then stick. So I think sometimes with pages like this, if you can have a bit of flow of your things moving off the edge of your page, it makes, kind of makes a bit more sense. Like that one's going to have to go up there, isn't it? Because that leaf makes no sense at all. Let's put that here, really close to that one. And then that one can come down there, there, down there. So I very much get a feeling like when I audition things, I'll be like, does it look right? I will kind of know straight away, and that is just probably down more to practice than anything else. But I think if your brain goes, not really, that's probably your brain's way of saying, well, that's not really very balanced. Okay, so I'm going to have a go at painting my own rose here. That's Kissy. Let's go in with some Kissy. So not really a circle. Let's go in with a bit of peony as well. I'll just put this on my table here. And then I'm going to think about, if peony isn't light enough, I might have to go in with maybe a white. So kind of looking at the images that are there already, and I'm putting brush strokes in to sort of try and imitate those petals. It looks to me like there's a little bit of like a purple in there. Let's punk. I have a feeling it might be punk. Let's try and see what happens. I think it is. There's just touches of this, isn't there? It doesn't really matter because in a bit I'm going to go in and draw some lines with, I might even just use the paint tube in sand. Then we need a couple of leaves. I think that's going to be envy. Just make sure my brush is nice and dry, and then I'm just going to come in here and put a couple of leaves up there, and then I can come back and add a bit more depth to those in a bit, like that. Right, so looking at this nice pale colour that's in here, clotted cream, yeah, let's go with that. I just want to make sure that I can actually squeeze some out. So I am going to try this. It might not work, and if it doesn't work, then that's fine. I'm not bothered. I'll smoosh it in. That'll do. But I need to give that time to dry, because that's a bit chunky. And in some places I might just go in and soften some of those lines. Like that. Okay, I quite like that. And then we need a different green on that. Let's go with a bit of Kermit. And then I'm going to do the same. I'm going to draw on those leaves with my paint tube. So I'm just gently, isn't going to come out now, is it? Oh, I didn't use that one, did I? Oh, clotted cream. Dearie me. Okay, so now I'm going to use a acrylic marker and I'm going to just pull some stalks in for these roses, like this. And I might also draw some leaves on there too. Could even have like gone through Marlene's paper elements and found some leaves. I think this marker might be on its last legs. Poor thing. And then don't forget, you can go in and use your marker pens to bring a bit more depth of colour to some of the images if you want to. Depth of colour, highlights, whatever you want to do. Kind of helps with the interest of your images if you, I think just play, play. It's so much fun just to let your mind have a play. I mean, I'm just drawing over the lines that I've just put on there, roughly. Not worrying about, is it in the right place? Keeping it loose, loosey-goosey. And what's going to work really nicely over that, I quite often like to do, is to come in with some stamping over the top. Right, I'm going to grab here we go. This little text stamp in here is one of my absolute favourites. I just like to add a bit of stamping onto the images as well. I can't do that one yet because it's still quite wet, and that is going to work really nicely. So next, I might use this one. I'll find an acrylic block for this and pop it on there. Just put this along the bottom, or even, should we go along? Let's just do it in some places on my glass. Some places. I'm going to have to move that right to the edge there because it won't stamp otherwise. Yes, I like that. Do the same thing here. And of course you can always get your ghost stamps off it as well. Right, what else can we... So that was from the new stamp set, Lovely Textures. I'll use this one. Let's just grab a smaller. This is a nice stamp. I can see myself using this one a fair bit. I like that. Lovely Textures. It really is. Okay, so now I've got that on there. Now, one of the new stamp sets had some little birds on it. Here we go. I quite like these. Let's put some of these little birds. It might also be quite nice to put a little sun up there. So this is the Sunshine Baby stamp set. These two little birds are very cute. Let me just stamp that around in a couple of places. It's a little swallow. There we go. Nice. Oops. Now, I wonder if there's a quote in that packet that will work. Let's have a look. Okay, so I found a quote and I just want to stamp this sun onto a piece of white cardstock, and then I'm going to stick it on my page. But I'm going to stick it on so it's half on, half off. Oh, that was brilliant stamping, Claire. Seriously, there we go. World's worst stamper. There we go, let's put those out of the way. Okay, let me give that a quick dry. I have kind of moved that a little bit. Not going to worry. Though, I think I might just use some Neo colours for getting some colour on these. Because it's nice and quick. And then I think what's going to finish this off nicely is going to be some splatters. It's a nice quick way to get some colour on, is just using those water-soluble water-soluble crayons when I can speak. That is literally sorted. Give you some Actually, I'm just going to cut round there like that. So I'm just cutting around this. Is a little bit fiddly. Maybe it's quicker to go in like that and then snip out the little bits. Is that quicker? Not really sure. Of course you run the risk of snipping off the little bits that you actually want to keep. Right. I'm going to stick that mostly up there. And any of those that overlap, I'm just going to cut off like that. Stick that down. Cut off that bit there too. There we go. Right. We need a bit more glue under there. Where have I put it? Right next to me. I know. Honestly, like, does anybody else have that problem? It's like blindness for what's right in front of you. Hopeless. Okay, so I think what might be quite nice is just to bring like a little bit of sun rays coming off the sun onto my page. And then I want to stick this quote. Is it going to work down here? Not every day may be good, but there is something good in every day. Isn't that true? And that might work quite nicely like that, actually. Then that is going to connect my two pages together. And then I think I need to just go in with some splatters. Oh, it's quite windy tonight. This is also a neo colour too. I'm just bringing some darker bits here. Okay, so I think the last thing I want to do is just wipe away these colours and just put out some pinks. And add some splatters to my page. Let's just add a little bit more water, make that paint move around a bit more. So I'm just going to add some colours to this and then give it a dry. I might just pop a bit of orange on there as well, because that's going to be a nice contrast. And maybe some white, just to finish it off. Okay. Right then. Does it need white? Maybe just a little bit. I'll stick it on there. Just a tiny little spot. Oh yeah, like that. That's quite nice. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. So that's another page in the new journal from Marlene, Art by Marlene. In this release, I've used some of the collage paper from the pad that's got cuttable pages in it. It's made like a little scene with flowers. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.